Good day, everybody. Bonsard here for another ramble. I just listened to my podcast I did with Marcus Gilman on the Non-Euclidean Æthercast, and there we have a little chat on the subject of steampunk and whether something is steampunk inspired. Let me try to take this from the beginning. We see a lot of discussions on Facebook and other social media, and people start asking, is this steampunk? And then you see the usual discussions like, well, it's not my vision or steampunk. Of yours? Yes, of course it is, because it's the color brown. Arguments like that. And I stated this more than once before. Steampunk is a feeling. It's something I first said in jest on my blog, Tupperware Steampunk, but as I have done more interviews and debated the topic, I have to conclude that this is simply true. What does that mean, though? What is the answer you can give to people, rather something they made or rather something they seen as steampunk? Well, one of my solutions is to say it's steampunk inspired. What do I mean with that? Let's talk about the description of steampunk for a moment. I think I said it before, but I'll say it again. Steampunk actually means three different things. The first one are the stories, the by Jules Verne inspired cyberpunk in the past kinda tales that we all know and love. Then you've got the aesthetic, and then there's the third, that's the community. And all that community produces, basically. That being said, there are many of those things on social media that are kind of borderline steampunk. Let's face it, a lot of artists made steampunk before they even knew what it was. Steampunk wasn't just born because Jeter coined the phrase, no. There were artists that were already making that aesthetic, whether it was because of personal interest or because it was inspired by the early steampunk books like The Difference Engine, is irrelevant. But there was a collection with similar themes of recycled technology, and people gave that a name. So we've got a lot of art, especially jewelry out there, that is worn in steampunk, or people try to sell it as steampunk, or people decide for themselves that it is steampunk. People want to belong. They want to be sure that whatever they make or wear to conventions or wherever is quote-unquote steampunk. So then someone posts a picture of like a cog on a leather wire, maybe she added some color to it, maybe a butterfly or something, and then asks, is this steampunk? Well, to me, steampunk is a little bit more nuanced than just, oh, here's a cog with a butterfly on it. But it's clear where she got the idea from. So this piece of jewelry may not be my vision of steampunk, but it's very clear where she got the idea from. And I think that is something we should take more into account. Let's face it, steampunk is a changing thing. It's a subculture, and subcultures change. And if we keep focusing on that purely Victoriana-esque steampunk's gonna die, because the people who want to develop are gonna leave. Like I said, steampunk is a feeling, and people don't like to get their feelings hurt. Now, personally, I don't give that much a damn about whether someone gets offended by what I make, but it sure as hell doesn't make me feel welcome. So that's why I think we should be a little bit more open. We don't have to call everything steampunk. I mean, I've seen people calling a woman in brown lingerie steampunk because it's the color brown. Well, it's, as far as I'm concerned, just modern lingerie. That's taking it too far. However, would that lingerie have cogs on it with butterflies? You gotta acknowledge where the inspiration comes from. People are expanding what it means to be into steampunk, what steampunk should look like, what periods of history it should be inspired by. I'd also accept that some people are going to take steampunk into their own direction, and some steampunks will remain where they are and where they have always been. However, we gotta accept that new communities within the steampunk worldwide will happen. It cannot be prevented, and if we would fight it, and if we would say, well, these people are not steampunk, we should shun them, we're gonna have a problem. Our movement is gonna die. So I think we should embrace the things that are clearly inspired by steampunk and stop having the discussion is something steampunk or not, but rather focus on it, where is the inspiration coming from? So this was just one of my incoherent rambles that I just wanted to record real quick. Please let me know what you think about it, and I hope to see you all next time. Thank you for listening.